Hi, that was a lot of fun trying to present old ideas in a new way. But I want to be serious for a minute. I want to explain something to you that you might not know. There's a story about a president of a university that had to travel from New York to Los Angeles. And since he wasn't able to be without his cigarettes for so long for a trip cross country, he actually landed 3 extra times to take short flights, have his cigarette, and then get back onto another plane. And he realized this was no way to live, and therefore he came for therapy to try to cure him of his habit. And the question really is, why are people who start smoking, why are they so connected to the cigarettes? It's true, chocolate's good, cake's good, but I've never heard of somebody getting out of a plane to make sure he could have chocolate bars and making a short, what could be a short trip cross country into a whole day affair. The answer is that when people start smoking cigarettes, they're actually making themselves very unhappy. And let me explain. Our body was designed to be happy. Can you imagine that? You were designed to be happy, and there are happiness chemicals in your brain. They're called serotonin, dopamine, and these chemicals are at a certain level to keep you happy. Now, when the person starts smoking, or when the person takes drugs, initially that raises the level of the happy chemicals in the brain. So a guy thinks he has it made, or a gal thinks she really accomplished something great. Let's say, for instance, the normal level of serotonin dopamine would be at number 100. So when a person smokes or does drugs, they might get up to 120, 130. And they feel super happy at first. But you know what? The body has a system. It's like a computer. And it's not programmed to operate at 130. So what happens is, it slowly starts underproducing the serotonin and the dopamine because it knows that you're going to buck it up by putting in the tobacco chemicals or by putting in the drugs the person's taking. And slowly the body is producing less serotonin. So let's say that the drugs or the tobacco can up it by 20 degrees. Eventually the body only gives you 80%. And then it's counting on you to use either the tobacco or the drugs to get up to 100. Which means that now, without smoking, a person is subhumanly unhappy. And that's what a person does when he starts smoking or taking other chemicals to try to get a cheap high. Because the body's not going to let you get away with it in the long run. You're actually wiring your brain to be unhappy and to have less and less happy chemicals once you touch a cigarette, once you take a drink, once you use drugs. And that's why an intelligent person, like a college professor, finds it impossible to be for hours without a cigarette, even though it can be hours without other treats in life, because these chemicals are much more than treats. They become part of what a person needs so basically to be happy. And that's why the smartest thing is not to get started. Now, if you hear this and it means anything to you, so you have 2 questions. If I already started, how do I get off? Because you've heard stories of how hard it is to stop. In future videos, I can share with you secrets of how you can make it easy for yourself to stop. And the second thing is, a person might feel, well, if I stop and these cigarettes were really my happiness, this was my body, how am I going to find happiness in life without the cigarette? In the future video, we'll talk about that also. Those are the things that everybody needs to know. First, if you've never started, you're a very happy person. Don't ruin it for yourself, and never start. If you started already, so watch the future videos and we'll tell you how you can easily stop. And for anybody, if you want to increase the happiness in your life, we'll talk about that together in the future also. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope it makes a difference in your life.